Hey there, it's Alice with Sage Leaf Studio, and I am distracted from a project that I'm working on that I am doing a video for, but I went to the thrift store and I got some stuff, and I decided I could do this really quick video of something that I wanted to make out of something that I got at the thrift store. So here we go. So this is just a, well, I would call it a wood frame, and it kind of is, but this stuff is really more about being like I don't know, some sort of wood composite. Maybe it's like wood that got chewed up and spit back out and molded. And it sort of seems like it has like a veneer of wood on the front. Anyway, but it's just wood color, and I cleaned it up as best I could, and I thought about like trying to seal it. I started to try to do that up here, but it wasn't really, it's just sucking it in. That's how I know it's like this more like a composite or something. But I don't mind the way it looks. It's not ugly. It's got this one little booger right up here, but I already know what I want to do there. So I just thought this would be a quick and easy job of putting together like a mixed media piece of art, if you want to call it that. And I love this paper. This is just something, is just really, and see, I got it for $1.59. And I could make a shadow box out of it, but I love this really yummy paper. I don't know if you can, I think you can see it. Oh, it's just sort of hairy, and it's just some really good looking like homemade paper. I'm not crazy about this, but I get it. Somebody had it and, thought that was cool, and I get it, but that's not what I'm going to use it for. So I'm going to cover that up. So I thought, okay, and don't mind all this stuff from this other project that I'm working on. Don't worry about it. You'll see it later in another video. But this will be a real easy one. So I thought, okay, what if I just, get in here and I start grabbing some paper and some mixed media. I've got this cute little page that I tore down just to cover up. I don't want to cover up my cool paper, so I'm just covering up the lettering. And then I've got this really, oh, it's kind of dirty, but it doesn't matter. But it's also kind of hairy paper, just like this hairy paper, but this is from something else. This is actually from a um, a flower press that I have, and I had to had to use a piece of the paper in it to for something else. So I'm tearing at this one piece, and it's just so yummy. And I inked it just like I did this. So I thought, okay, what if we put that there? And then I had a piece of cardboard that I did a pretty good job of tearing away, the one part of it, the one side of it, and just, this, like one side. So it left the corrugated part. And I thought, well, that's cool. And I tore it because I just wanted this little piece because I wanted it to kind of fit in here. I'm thinking maybe I want it to fit that way. I don't know, because when I got to playing with it, then I thought, okay, what if I put a piece of lace? And I don't know if that's the top, the front, or if that's, sometimes it's real easy to tell. And sometimes it is not real easy to tell what's the back and what's the front. I think maybe this is probably the front, but I need to, so I've got this kind of this size piece, but it could go there. And then maybe I just, I put something sort of right in the middle. I'm just going to glue it all together, put something there. But then I thought, well, wouldn't it be pretty to have, and I'm going to cut this down as soon as I decide that that's what I'm using. But what if, and I went and got my stash of different little frames and things. You can't see it all in here, but there's some on these pages in my binder. And I thought, what if I grab one of these? So I'm gonna I like this one right here. although it's kind of bigger than my corrugated cardboard. And I thought maybe the lace could be the backdrop for it. And then I could have something like maybe a flower, some sort of image that, will come up away, but in the frame, but it could also kind of flow out over the frame corners or edges or whatever. So I was thinking about that. But then I feel like I'm covering up my cardboard. So maybe I need to not be quite so anal. And this could be over here or maybe here. It doesn't even have to be that big. And maybe, but then see if this is like this, that might look too weird. I can't get a hold of my thing again. Actually, that would work. I don't know. I'm going to play with it and see how this is going to develop and work on it and hope that it becomes something really cool. That might work. I don't know. I get so excited over these mixed media pieces because there's just so many possibilities. I mean, I could put some buttons on it. I could put more lace. I could put some little bejewel things on there. I don't know. I gotta think about it. But here we go. Okay, so far so good. So I've glued down all of my things, all of my papers, my corrugated cardboard, and I cut my piece of lace just to fit on this. I should have inked that, I guess. Whatever, doesn't matter. Um, but my little frame here. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't glue down this side of my frame because I don't want it. I want it three-dimensional here. So I'm leaving glue off of this edge, but I did put it right along the inside of the frame and really heavy here and here so that this will all hold and this will still continue to float out freely and be three-dimensional. So now I've got to find something to stick in the frame, but I don't want to cover up the lace. So I want to find something that kind of, I'm thinking a flower. Let me look through my stash here, and you can't see me doing it, or maybe it could be a bird. I love using birds. Mushrooms are cool. But I'm thinking some sort of a flower with a purple situation since that's sort of the theme I've got going on there. I don't know. The only thing purple really is this. And then I've got glue all over me already. And then there's sort of a purpley blue in this frame. If your imagination works like mine does, that's what it sort of feels like. I could do a butterfly. What kind of a butterfly would I put? I don't think so, though. All my butterflies are either too big, too small. None of them are purple. And I've got bugs, but I don't want to use a bug. I'm looking for purpley looking flower. So I've got something like this. This is kind of, I have several of these. These are kind of standard issue. I mean, that could work. It's kind of glossy. There's that. And then let's see what else I've got in here. I've got... Be careful flipping through, looking. Okay, wait a minute. Here we go. Hang on. What about this? Okay, that's pretty, but is it too much the same color? I kind of like it. I kind of wonder if I did that there, if I could still do something else right in here. What would it be though? What? Buttons? Some sort of a bauble? Like a watch face? I mean, I don't mind using like heavy metal objects. Like, let me see, I've got some stuff laying here. Like, what if it was something like this? Oh, that'd be cool. And then put another little picture situation in there. I mean, it's supposed to sort of look like a watch, but it doesn't have to be that. And then I've got something like this. You know, that's some sort of a little, I don't know what that is. It's got a hole up here and a hole back here, and I've got other sizes of it. I've got this one, but I think it's just a set of something. I've got an even bigger one. Look, I'm reaching right in front of the camera. But like, look at here, there's these, but they're way too big. That's going to cover up all my cool stuff. Yeah, this is more the size, but what is it? I don't know. I'm still kind of loving the idea of this with something. But that does kind of cover up all the lace too, doesn't it? I don't know. What else is in here? Here's some sort of here's a zipper. Does zipper work? How about that? A little zipper. I think I'm getting way out of line here. And I like the idea of some buttons. So maybe some buttons, because I don't know. Looks a little like a sweet lady situation. But yeah, so do I like that better than that? I think so. This would be pretty here. But what I also want to do is I want to put something up here to cover up this little booger. I think something needs to go up there. So maybe I'm going to put a little, I don't know, flower situation up there. I don't know. Maybe I could make something dangle. I could make a dangly thing. It might be kind of cool with buttons in it. And then, no, this looks more likely. I'm more likely suspect, but I'd probably put something behind this too. Just a piece of lace or something just to sort of, yeah, that might be kind of cool. Okay, I got to play with it again. Okay, so I found let's see, I found a little picture. I was going to try and maybe do a bigger one, but then I didn't want to cover up this lace. So I found a little bitty picture. Let's zoom in so we can look at it. There we go. I found a little bitty picture, and I did end up using some buttons, and then I found this little cutout guy. So I did not go purple. I ended up going kind of pink, and there's a little bit of a glare because that's kind of a glary piece. But anyway, so that's what that part looks like. And then I decided, okay, so all this area here is kind of stark and too big and wide, and this picture that I found is, you know, it looks like it's probably a mom and her daughter, I guess. And we're going to assume that. And Mother's Day is coming right up. So why not turn this into sort of a like maybe a Mother's Day piece or something? But or maybe it could be something for the mother to give to the daughter. What about that? So then I thought, okay, I've got a bunch of words that are all printed out on stained paper, and I found in my stash a paper, a sentence that said, "Oh, the places you'll go," kind of like Dr. Seuss. Anyway, but I felt like, I, I'd put it up here or put it here, but it still needs something so I can place it on this and I could put that there, but it still feels a little stark over here. I'm not trying to junk it up too much, but then I went and got let me back you back up, got my stash of tea bags and was thinking, and this is actually, there's tea in here too, because I've used tea. I've got like black tea, so it looks kind of like that, and green tea, and it looks like that. And then this is hibiscus, and it's beautiful, and it's these are actually already used, the grounds out of the tea bag, but they're so pretty, and I've used them before in mixed media pieces. So I keep those around. And this is some sort of tea bag situation, Japanese, I think, or Chinese, Japanese, I don't know, tea. And then I was thinking that, yes, I do. I have, so that hibiscus tea is very pink. And so I keep those bags. These are kind of more regular, they're probably Earl Grey because I have so many of those. That's what my husband likes to drink. So I have a lot of that. Anyway, but I'm thinking that I could use a piece. Maybe this is big enough. A piece of that in here. And now I'm getting tea leaves all over the image. Oh yeah, see, because there is little bits of tea that seem to kind of hang in the fibers of the tea bag, and I'm okay with that. So I think I'm just going to leave it like that. So what if we use this somewhere in here? Maybe, I don't know, because I do want to put this sort of at an angle since everything else is kind of going straight. So maybe it just needs to go under there. So we could just tear this, and it's always just nice and furry looking. I think that piece will work. So we could stick it, maybe kind of off to the side here. I don't know, maybe that's too far over. Maybe it could be sort of like this. I could use both pieces. I could figure out a way to maybe do something like this. I don't want to cover it up. The whole point is that it's in there. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I'm going to play with it. But I think I'm on the right track. So, and usually I squinch this stuff up. I'll have to give this a good cleaning because I'm just getting all kinds of little fibers and things on it. But I'll probably squinch this up a little bit. So, yeah. I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac, which I think I've used on this entire project. And oftentimes when I'm doing something like this, instead of attaching it um, to the tea bag or anything that's kind of, flimsy and see-through and all that, I will put it down and then put it on and sort of work it. So I'm thinking I need to kind of go off in this direction, and I kind of just want to squinch it up. And remember, I want it to be kind of 3D, so I'm not worried about necessarily tacking it down everywhere. And that may get covered up when yeah, see, it's going to get covered up. I'm wondering if I should just really make this a lot smaller. I could tear this off. I haven't inked this yet, but I will tear that off, so then I've really got a short piece, and then I could really go with a short piece so that we're still getting our, maybe it needs to be like that. That's not bad, but I feel like it needs to be shorter. So let's see if I can cut a straight line here. I'm going to go way in here. I've got more if I screw it up and decide I went too far. So I've got that there. Got a little bit of glue here. I'm not going to worry about that. I kind of like that. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, this is good. I could cut this way down, or I could tear it so that it's real thin. I don't know. Or maybe I'll just take and sort of do some squiggly lineage here where this is. Yeah, that looks weird. Looks weird to end it on that. Or maybe it's something like that. And then this. I don't know if I like that or not. It looks kind of weird. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and cut this down. And I don't trust myself to do it straight with that little bitty scissors, so I'm gonna try it with some longer scissors. So let me get over here so I'm not cutting right over top of everything and dropping stuff. There we go. I don't know that it's very straight. This is terrible that you have to suffer through this with me. But I'm almost done. So we're getting near the end of the line here. So, oh look, that works, because now we can still see the other end of our, yeah. And you know what? This could also be cut down just a little bit. It's a little higher at the, well, it's higher. It's more at the top than at the bottom, but now it's kind of evens up. So, yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, let's do that. Okay, let's ink real quick. Get some ink going here. Let's see what I'm doing. Sure you figured it out, but here we go. Just using some of this brown archival ink. Gives everything a little pop. I didn't ink the tea bag. I don't think that's really necessary. I mean, they're already naturally stained, and it just, I've done it before. It looks kind of weird, like, oh, it's, what happened to it? So anyway, okay, so I've got that. I'm going to get rid of this. I hope it doesn't dry out. And then I'm going to go ahead and stick this on my piece of paper, and then I'll just put it all together. Put it down all together. So this, and again, I'm not worried about going to all the edges with everything, because I don't mind if it's sticking up. It's not like this is going to be, in a journal or somewhere where, the corners could curl up and get caught on something, and then you're in trouble. So this is just, everything can be fairly three-dimensional looking. I could pop this up. I could stick like a, like a spacer. Is that what you would call it? Here, I've got some right here on my desk. These things right here. I could stick one of those or a couple of those back there and make it pop up, but I don't think that's necessary. There's a bead of glue trying to escape. So let's get this under here. I don't want it too far under there. And yeah, so see, we've still got our loose tea bag on that corner showing. Oh, the places you'll go. Got a lot of glue on me now. Not going anywhere with all this glue on me. Okay, so got little bits and pieces I can clean up, but this is basically what we're doing here. Is let me zoom back out a little bit so you can see the whole thing again. So that looks pretty good, and I kind of like it. And I'm still not sure what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep that piece. I'm still not sure what I'm gonna do about this corner. Well, it's not a corner. Well, it is a corner, but I mean this outer corner right here where this boo-boo is. Let me stick all these scraps in my, if you haven't seen me do it before, I keep a Kleenex box, and every time I'm, have leftover bits, I just stick them in here to kind of wrangle them, and I throw it in the recycle, and I know they probably don't recycle. Well, they do some of it maybe, but some of it's such small pieces, I don't think it matters. But anyway, whatever, let them deal with it. But anyway, I was wondering if I should put like a little flower up there, or I thought about, bunching up this lace and, making sort of like a, like a little flower out of it. This wouldn't be a very little flower, because I really should be doing this from the other side, going on top. And by that I mean doing like this, and pleating it. But again, this piece might be a little bit big for this application. I might grab another smaller piece, and yeah, this is gonna, quite a bit of it. It's kind of bunchy, but tuck that in, have it be the, I don't know, something like that. But and then, oh, that looks pretty chunky. So again, maybe I'll find, so I'll put a picture up at the end of what it ended up being that I found. I've been known to take those little tea bags and scrunch them up really tight, and then when you kind of let them unfurl, they almost look like a little rosebud or something. So I feel like I've got some flowers though, and I've wandered away from my desk to go look. But I know I've got, like little, kind of like something like that. That one looks not great. That one's yellow, so that's not going to work. I feel like it needs more than, oh, there's purple, but it's kind of bright for this. But I've got all these extra little, oh wait, there's a little pinky looking rose. I don't know, I don't want to get too many different types of flowers going on and colors and stuff like that. So, oh, there's kind of a dusty rose, but actually, well, that's not horrible. It's sort of in the same family as what's going on here, and I realize now you probably can't see it because of the glare, but I don't know if I want to compete with that flower. So I'll find something to stick there, and then I'll just throw a picture up at the end to show you what I decided on, and who knows. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.